Let's get going. So I found this channel, as you'll hear very soon. Yeah, no, so copyright-free music, but it's actual, like, songs with lyrics and all that. So apparently it's all stream safe. I'm debating whether to use this or the usual lo-fi, though. Yeah, I'm gonna swap to a lo-fi, so that's just the usual ones I go for. Stream safe lo-fi. Just close that. Yeah, we'll just go for this one, 12-hour lo-fi. Alright, so, as the name states, building the Gundam Helios. So just need to figure out how to like flip that around at some point. So, this is what it's going to look like at the end. This is a very nice kit I've been looking forward to building, but I've been procrastinating on building model kits for way too long, and I just need to start doing them, or else nothing's getting done. I really like it because this is one from the mobile game, so it's actively like showing stuff from the mobile game and whatnot, how they expect it all to work. So, starting out, we are building the body down here, which I can't really show because of the way the camera is. Do wish I could get the camera a bit further out, but that's just not possible, sadly. I wonder, would I just be able to like tilt this part and then tilt this? Okay, well, it's not perfect. But there we go. I was able to get it to look good. A bit good, at least. So then, this one has all sorts of cool different features from all the different Gundams it's a combination of. It's got the Gundam X, the Freedom, and the Destiny. Just a whole bunch of cool parts. So that's why I was really wanting this, because it's got so many cool features in it. So first of all, we've got to get PC2. This doesn't show us like what parts are used. Yep, PC02. Doesn't not what parts, what runners are used. A, which is this multicolored one, has a little shield, energy beam bit. And F. Which one of these? That's C, which means that this one is F. And we got all these parts. You can see the head, you can see the back of the head, front of the head, the horn, the mouth, the skirt and all that. Lots of very good things. I wonder how this works. This could actually work with a custom Gundam I'm wanting to build someday. In the far, far future. More importantly, let's get our hands on A1, the only yellow part. And this is the inside of the body. Which is actually quite interesting because most Gundams just use two parts, being the front and back of the body. This one uses an inside part that is kind of the base, and the rest forms around it in order to build up all of its parts. It's a very interesting design choice, but it seems to pay off well. Then we get two instances of PC2, which are the shoulder joints. Like, yeah, the model kits often will have inside parts and stuff. That's more layering rather than just like internal framing. Or like it goes on and then the two parts become, then like the layer and the external shell will become the skeleton of it, so to speak, like what everything attaches onto. So, next up we grab F10. 10 is this part here. It's your nice and obvious back. It's got the upper torso and the two pegs for things to go into the back. Pop that out. Cut it down in any areas that need a little extra cutting. And then get to filing. This one's the white part, so it doesn't need too much filing work done, since it's just that colour. People won't see that too much. So now we got this. Because I remember with the aerial, not the aerial, which one was it? But like, yeah, Gundam's like the, was it the Freedom Gundam? Yeah, the Freedom Gundam that I built, the real grade. It has these parts, like little exhaust bits on the front of the chest as well, but they're like a separate piece that goes into the shell, like that front part, and just works like that rather than being its own separate like part entirely inside it. Next up we get A2, which is this little green gem thing, and this basically goes on the front. From what I can tell, I won't need any cleaning up since it gets covered over. And we need to grab E, which is the blue runners. There's two instances of these. Actually, no, I think these are two different runners. Either way, from it, just grab the blue part, which is the front of the Gundam. And this is what I was referring to, most things do. They have the, oh whoa, yo, there's actually like a hex pattern. I'm not sure if it'll be possible to see it. Nah, it's not. It's not visible. Yeah, that's just camera quality for you, but there's like a hex pattern, hexagonal pattern on this. That's pretty neat. Anyway, slot it in. Which way does it? It goes in like this. Yeah, it goes in like this. Oh, it has more parts go over the top. I was thinking it looked a bit hollow in some parts. Those parts go over it. Anyway, that's what that looks like. You can see there's that blue. This part is translucent, so it's shiny, but the camera doesn't pick it up well because of the angle and all that. It plugs on over the yellow. If I can get it on right. And see that yellow peeking through. I remember in most kits, like this part would just be a separate part that plugs into the blue part. And the blue would be bigger and hold all the pieces. You know, I'm rambling about the fact that it uses an internal skeleton and then puts a shell over it way more than I should be. I do not have enough experience with Gundams to go, wow, this is such a different thing that I've never seen before. Alright, then we grab a F11, which is the top part. You can see there's that little hole for where the neck joint plugs in. and we head over to PC1. This one, no, that's C2. And this is PC2. Oh, wait, no, it's PC-002, so it's just like generic PC part. It doesn't mean runner PC1, it means runner PC part 1. Alright, anyway, now we plug this down. You can see, covers over the green part. I was talking about feeling a bit weird about how it's exposed. Then, with this taking the correct angle and all that, plug the neck in so that the thicker, because like one side going out is thicker than the other side going out, it's facing forward, and it stops itself on a little part that it gets blocked on because it's extended. Then grab A, and get 3, which is just these two little translucent green lines. And their purpose will be obvious in a moment. I say as if there's anybody to even not realise that there's a certain way these pieces go on. Anyway, you can see there's these gaps. I should probably just like make it so it's facing away from me so it looks like it's facing towards you guys. Anyway, I say you guys like there's anyone here. These gaps, they get filled in by this. That's one plugged in. That's 2 plugged in. Now I've just got these nice little green translucent parts. Given that the Helios uses the Psycho frame, it's got to have that on the outside in some places to show off. So next up, we go back to A and we grab A10, which is this big, well, I'm pretty sure we all know it's just the bottom of the torso. But yeah, torso is the upper body. Bottom of the torso part that plugs in. And then we grab PC4, which is just a large ball that goes onto a peg. And then we just plug that on. Fit. There we go. Plug it on so that the big gap is filled in by the blue part. Well, not filled in, but like it aligns, and then like when it bends, fills it in. It's like no problems here. Now we've got the 4 worst named weapons probably in the... Oh wait, no, it does actually. I got the entire way. I didn't have it on properly. 4 worst named weapons in the entire Gundam franchise, being this little gun, this little gun, this little gun, and this little gun. They are known as... Oh, didn't clean that part up properly. So they are known as the Twitch TOS cannons, because I will get in trouble if I say the word and get caught. Just search up in the Gundam wiki for the Helios. Control G chest, because they're on its chest, because then it'll bring you to the weapon, which description it says cannons firing from the chest. You see the name of the weapon and you'll understand. Then bada bing bada boom, you can't say the name or you'll get banned on Twitch. Anyway, that's the body done. There's the torso, good and proper. So now we get to move on to the head. I keep looking like up on my computer to figure out where I should be pointing, instead of just like looking down and seeing this is where the head is, not over here. Anyway, for this we need F, A, And that's it. Okay, and a sticker sheet, which I just have up off to the side. So from A, I'll get the parts from F first, because they're nice and easy to identify. We have 21, good old 9 plus 10. We have 22? No, we don't have 22. Yeah, so we have 18, 19. Oh, 18 is the back of the head, 19 is the front of the head, 20 is the crown, and 21 is the mouth guard piece. Honestly, what... They put a mouth guard there like there's a mouth on a Gundam. One day it's going to break off and see that it was Evangelion all along. Still need to watch the Evangelion rebuild movies. Much like a lot of things on my watch list, they have stayed there for a while. It's always good when the little bit of scuff that you cause is on a white part so that it's not visible normally. Like, unless you know to look for it. And even if you do, you need to get up close and personal, so it's not an issue. I find the body of this Gundam quite interesting. Because, well, not just the body, but the body and the head, because the head uses live ammunition. Like, it uses physical ammunition for its, like, little guns on the side of its head. But then the body's cannons use beam stuff. That way it has both physical and beam, like, ammunition used for dealing with missiles and warding off opponents. Alright, now we grab A12, which is this little red part, makes up the head, or the internals of the head. There we go. Quickly clean it up. There we go. Now we place the mouth guard on. I call it the mouth guard, but since it doesn't have a mouth, is this technically the mouth? I literally just said it doesn't have a mouth, so it's just the mouth. It just doesn't have a mouth. Next up, we need A9. This part's actually quite interesting, because it's the translucent green used either for the beam effects or for the psycho frame, and it's the internals of the head. Like, this is meant to be the inside of the head. It's like what's behind the eyes. Actually, it is the eyes. So that just means a larger amount of the inside of this Gundam's head is just pure psycho frame. Anyway, turn it the correct way up, not trying to plug it in upside down. Plug it on. Now it's got a little hook on its head. That part's getting the shine right now. And from there, we grab the paintbrush and the tweezers. We wet and dry the eyes, because that's where the eyes go. Okay, well, I accidentally did it off screen. Still getting used to the camera, but just know that I totally, like, wet and then dried the part. Go over to the decal sheet and grab 3, which is, as you can see here, the eyes. Black around with nice glowing green eyes. Do it on camera for once, maybe. But there we go. Now we have nice little Gundam head with these little eyes on. Though they're not too visible against the darker green with the back of it. I'm just looking. Give me a second. It's nice in the winter. I have a like a heat. Yeah, it's like one of the heat events underneath my desk, which is really nice in the winter because it means it's nice and warm for my feetsies. Not so good when you're building Gundams that have small parts that would fall into the vent and then you'd lose them forever though. So just put a bit of stuff there in order to make sure it won't fall off. Anywho, now we get to place this inside of the head. Slots in there nice and proper. Other half of the head is plopped on. Crown is placed on nice and properly. And last but not least, A11 is the small red part that clips in order to hold the crown in place. Got to put it on the crown for... keep calling it the crown. Should I keep calling it the crown? Oh, right. 0 viewers. Nobody to really answer that question. Yeah, I'm just going to call it the crown, even though it's the antenna. Anywho. Yep, that plugs in there nice and properly. Now we have the head completed, and thanks to the light you can kind of see the green eyes poking through. No, you can't really see it at all. Anyway, green eyes in there, shadowed by the head, but it looks good. Lots of places for decal marker. Not sure if I will do... yeah, I will do the decal marker on this kit. So I don't just want to be using decal marker on every single kit. That would get excessive and use up the ink in it very quickly, or the paint in it very quickly. But like kits that are majority white, like this one, really benefit from having the decal lining, so I will. Anyway, that's the head completed. Less than half an hour we finished the head and the body. This is pretty good. Anyway, now we are on to the 2 shoulders. We actually make them both at the same time. So we're going to need to grab F, where in which we get 13 and 14. We're just going to make the shoulders one at a time. That one's 13, that one's 14. Now we head over to G. That's C1 and C2, which means this one down here is G. And we get G11. With it facing the correct direction. put on these parts. There we go. Now, we're actually going to want to grab E back out. And it has parts of both shoulders, so it looks like that other one isn't E, so I'm not sure. It could be D, because I haven't seen runner D yet. Anywho. This part, the 10, it's blue, so it's got scuff marks that show a lot easier on it. Oh, which means it needs to get cleaned up once it's been made or cut off. I don't have to deal with any stress marks. I've gotten a lot better at using this, I gotta say. Like, I can consistently get scuff marks, well, not gone entirely, but way, way, way down. So they're barely noticeable. Alrighty. There's one. This one. Which one is this one? 10. 10 goes on this side and attaches on last. Should have done 11 first. No, because then I also have to get another part out. Anyway, now we go to the other side where we get 11. It also needs that clean. And just a few motions. Nice and pretty. Oh. There we go. Now we head over to G and grab 17. 12, 17. Oh, little exhaust fumes on this. Oh, not exhaust fumes, exhaust ports on the side of the shoulders. How fancy. So, with this in the correct orientation, this in the correct orientation, plug it in. It goes at an angle. There's these like holes inside like that raised bit. See if I can get an angle. You can see it here. Yeah, you can just see it right by my finger. And that just plugs it all together. So now, making sure everything's facing correctly. The grey part in the middle of this, like when it's plugged in, it actually pokes through a little, and that's because that is how it connects onto here. So that's very nice use of layering the pieces. Very smartly made. This part needs trimming down in order to properly fit. There we go. There we go. So now what we do is we grab F5, which as you can guess is a white part. Yep. That looks dandy. Then we figure out which way it goes. It goes like this. Plugs in and looks nice, and you'll see there's a gap there. Same on the other side. What a peculiar shape. Perhaps it's because stuff goes in there. That being 6 and 7 from A. What's interesting is the inconsistency in how pieces are stored if they're mirrored or like they go together. because these two blue parts were stored like 7788 or 7766. Meanwhile, on, I keep pointing like it's on screen. On here, it goes 67 for one of the shoulders, and then over here 67 for the other shoulder. So for one, they're put together based on their number, and for the other, they're put together since they're used together. And like put that way separately in order to better keep the position it needs to be in. It just goes in. Like this. Nope. Just trying to figure out which way this goes in. Alright, so this is 6, which means with this facing this way, it goes around on this side. Then why isn't it plugging in? This part's meant to go on afterwards. That's my bad. Yeah, there it is. So it does plug into something a little bit. I gotta say, having the translucent green on the blue, it's gonna make it very difficult to see on like the stream with the camera. There we go. That's all in the correct place, and now place this part down. Boom. Anything else? No. So this is one of two. Oh, this is one of two shoulder parts. Yeah, that translucent green just looks kind of translucent blue because it's too close in color. Next up, we will grab the other shoulders. Now we just clean up any strain marks left behind. I just call them scuff marks. Even though they're not done by scuff, they're done by strain. Imagine if someone actually made something out of all of the nubs that they cut off. Because like they cut away from the piece and then they cut and then they get a nub afterwards. They actually do something with all that. Anyway, G11 2 Electric Boogaloo. We'll grab 17 while we're here as well. That other exhaust part. Then 11 is here. That part just entirely broke off. Here it is. And now Bada bing, bada boom. Move over to F, where we grab 13, 14, and 5. So there's 14, there's 13, this is 5 over here. Whenever they do, like, build your own one-of-a-kind Gundam, they keep showing it combined with the Live Lance Heaven for the body and weapon. With the big Live Lance, as I'm just going to call it. I don't really know much about the game, so there could be like an in-game reason why that's a thing. There might not be, who knows. There we go, that's nice and cleaned up. Now then, 13 connects on here. Now so it'll click there. 14 connects on here and connects into and is connected into by 13. Nice little click there. Place in the exhaust port. Place in the shoulder joints. And finally, oh, I only cleaned up one of the 2 shoulder parts. Just do another run over of there as well. Ooh, a little bit too much pressure and went flying off there. Alright, these parts here. 6 and 7. This is 6. Just trim it down because I left a little nub on. 6 goes on this side. Connects over. It's got this little part. Here it's like connected over. Here there's just that gap. Just clicks in there. You know, I shouldn't complain about my camera quality too much, because for what it is, it's actually really good, because my camera's currently like super zoomed in. So getting blurry when you get closer to the super zoomed in camera, I can't complain about that too much. There's that, and finally, place on the white part. Now we have 2 shoulders completed. Now we move on to the right arm. Starts off with a lot of parts from C1. Oh hey, here's the open hand with the little cannon bits. That's what I'm really Like in this kit 4, I really love just the fact that it has little cannons on the hands. Yeah, so it doesn't have the normal, like, flat open hands. It only has closed fists and open palm blast hands. I'm doing quite well, Risk. How have you been? So I know it's been quite a while since I streamed. Alright, C3 and 4. How have you maximized build efficiency? Yeah, what's it called? I'll talk on that in a second. I just wanted to say, did you just say that you were tired, Risk? Possibly a sleepy situation? An EP little guy? Maybe, just perchance, that's because you're up very late right now, and you really shouldn't be. You, ever consider that? That thought run through that tired little head of yours? You can't escape. I'm going to give you flack for this for the rest of time. One of these days, I'm going to do a stream that's like normal time for you, and it's like the dead of night for me, and you're going to start giving me flack for it. It'll be completely justified. Wait, did I grab the wrong part? No, it's totally the right part. I grabbed 7. Oh wait, this is G. Oh no. Yeah. C is up here. So they're both the grey parts, so... Mixed them up. Oops. Okay, just gonna put this part over here. We're just not gonna talk about that. Here's 7 and 8. Yeah, I'm really hyped for Gundam Breaker 4. What I'm most hype about is the playtest, though. It's Japan only. I would have joined it otherwise. Or, you know, I would have applied to join it otherwise. But the thing is, I don't have the highest hopes for Gundam Breaker 4 after Gundam Breaker, or like new Gundam Breaker. So the fact that they're doing this is them trying to like show that this is a different and much better game by giving people a chance to play it and give feedback and actively say, like, yeah, this is what it's going to be like ahead of the launch. Which is just like a really good idea. The collector's edition stuff does look cool though. It seems like they're going to make stuff way more customizable. Still not as customizable as, like, actual Gunpla for obvious reasons. Like, how are they going to work on, like, this piece being separate from this piece and you've got to select them both? People would hate that. Gunpla collectors would love it. But that would not be, like, new player friendly in the slightest. So now... flip it round, make sure it's facing this way. Get PC 9. That's C2, not PC. Where's PC? Here's PC. Yep, this is 9. the dual weapon system is really cool because that person... do you know if... I don't actually know their full like YouTube username. It's like Kakarot and then a series of numbers, and they do lots of Gundam news each month. He got to talk to someone working on the game, or like who has information on the game and all that, and got permission to release the information. And it sounds really good, because what the person was describing, just in case you hadn't heard already, was one hand using a sword and the other using a whip, and the whip is longer range, lower damage, and slightly pulls the opponent closer. Meanwhile, the sword does much higher damage. The idea is by using the whip, it pulls the enemy within range to get hit by the sword. And so there's going to be all sorts of combos like that, where you use different weapons in conjuncture. Alright, so you want it like this. You want that facing that way. Okay, manual doesn't show it the best, or you can't see it the best from there, but you can't really see it. You can kind of see the hole, or like the gap in the wrist is on the other side of these little pokey bits. Actually, can you see it better down here if like the lighting's not an issue? How do I tri-beam? Nah, it's still too small in a way. Yeah, people are making jokes referring to Gundam Breaker 4 as Gundam Broken 4. And like one game out of a series which is considered really, really good was bad, and now everyone's got no faith in it. And I would say that's a bad thing, but I don't have faith in it either. So I can't exactly complain about people not trusting it. So yeah, while I'm skeptical, I'm also hopeful, because it does look like it's going to be really good. Alright, gotta make sure this goes on the right way. Oh, it's symmetrical, it goes on the right way no matter which way I put it on. Then that facing this way, this facing this way. Oh, there we go. So you want to have the gap in this piece. You can see like it goes around, but then there's that gap and it continues. Be on the same side as the part that pokes out. Alrighty, place that here. Now grab E4 and G12. Absolutely. What's it called? I know it's not going to be the best on the Switch. I'm planning on getting like a gaming PC this year at some point. And then, you know, I'll be able to do a lot more stuff. I'll be able to play Gundam Breaker 4. But if it's out before that, I might get it on the Switch. That could be... like, I don't know. If it's just graphics, I like good graphics, but I don't mind the Switch not having, like, top-of-the-line graphics. But if it's straight-up performance issues and all that, yeah, I'm not getting the Switch version. Especially since everyone's going to be playing the computer version, so unless cross-play is a thing... And even then, it won't be as good, since, like, the controls will be weird. I don't know, when I get a full PC, I also plan to get, like, a controller that's compatible. Alrighty, first off, I've got to go over to A now. And G. Then we got A, now we got G. Oh, you're going to get the Switch version. Yeah, it's fair. Because the thing is, if we get the Switch version, we're also going to have to buy Nintendo Online to play multiplayer. And I know the main focus isn't on multiplayer. They did too much focus on multiplayer last time and learned their lesson. They actively stated that in a message saying they're not doing that one again. But at the same time, like, trying out your gunplay against other people's gunplay is going to be really fun. I do hope it has crossplay. Alrighty then, so now we get 16. And 16 is a translucent green part that can move up and down. So yeah, I'm not sure. It depends on whether I have a gaming PC when it comes out. If I'm getting it PC or Switch, essentially. Then you take this in the correct orientation, plug that in, flip it up, make sure it's on nice and proper. So now we have the grey part with that translucent green that can move around. One of the things is I'm actually going to stop the Minecraft series because my computer lags like all hell. It's not very good to watch. So like laggy computer and the game crashes and stuff. It's not perfect. Well, obviously nothing will be perfect, but I don't want to kill my computer, so I'm just going to stop like games on the PC while streaming and stuff until I have a good PC. Because once again, I'm doing all this off of a laptop. I've got to say, this laptop has gotten me through a lot and does not deserve the abuse I give it. Yeah. What's it called, that one meme? Yeah, that's what I was literally about to say, that meme. I'm tired, man, please. And so I'm tired, boss. Dude's just completely defeated. If I can just plug this in, please. So I'll be able to do a lot more if I'm on like a good PC as well. Not even just streaming wise, but just in general. I play more games with my friends because they have good PCs and I don't. And then I'm just left going, please guys, can I join? And then lag everyone else's games because they're connected with me now. Alright, grab, what is that? Yeah, 4 from A. One game that I do want to play, and I think because it's old and all that, the computer can run it. It's been running it smoothly, and it can run it while doing stuff. And you can join me in it if you'd like, Risk. Dragon Ball Online. Currently it's only held like alive by a fan project, but it is still alive. It's a Dragon Ball MMO following the events of the manga rather than the anime of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Because up until Super, everything was practically the exact same, but things like the colours of characters were actually different between the versions. Because, take for example the anime, it came out alongside the manga because Akira Toriyama was already so popular thanks to Dr. Slump, that it ended up coming out like alongside the manga to a certain extent, obviously behind it, which resulted in coloured versions of stuff not appearing for a bit. Look how far this can bend out. This can flip out and then this can go back in. What this resulted in though is, for example, Master Roshi's house is the wrong colour. It's that iconic, like, pale, yeah, Ultra Instinct, Black Frieza is manga only. Super Saiyan Goku in the first movie isn't yellow. But yeah, no. So what I'm referring to though, Master Roshi's house is the wrong color. So Risk, what color do you think Master Roshi's house is? Because we all know it. We all know it to be that iconic pink with the light pink with the darker pink roof, or more of just a stronger pink. In the manga, though, yeah, Master Roshi's house is blue, but it took so long for Akira Toriyama to get to do a colored chapter for it that we never actually saw it. So by the time the anime came out, it just made his house that pink that's iconic now. And so in this game, Kame House is back to being blue, and it just feels off and all that. Things like not Corrin. No, it might have been Corrin, but one of the characters, one of the cat characters has blue fur instead of whichever fur they have in the anime. So I think it is Corrin because he's like entirely white in the anime because they just didn't color him in to have that blue tone in the manga, which would have been a shading. Oh, hey Daniel. We're just building the Helios, or the Gundam Helios. Got 2 shoulders done, 1 of the arms, the body, and the head. So we're making good headway, so to speak. And so... yeah, so now the next step is just to make the hands. I'm just going to get all the hands done at once while we're here, essentially. That's G. So it wants E and C. Oh, what's been going on with Minecraft? Oh, risky building the Thunderbolt Zaku. Like, I remember what that thing looks like. But I just know Thunderbolt means way too many parts. If anyone knows they've added this ability to add stuff in. Do you mean like the /give command, or is there something else? And then you grab E9. Oh yeah, 8 to 9 says copies for all of the hands. Basically, they've added... oh, I saw that! Yes! They're not add-ons, they're mods, and then it's just not mods. But then they're paid to get them because they're on the marketplace, but then they're also based on actual mods. They're stealing modders' work and then making Java players pay for stealing Java modders' work and making Bedrock players pay to get it. Yeah, some are paid, some are free. I don't know all the details about the situation yet. I kind of just learnt about it. You know, I've got a video, literally like a tab open for a video to watch later, which is going over the situation. Really need this piece to go in properly. There we go. So that is the right arm fully completed. Just saying some have the same developer and some of their own studio. Yeah, no, you're not backing them up. You're literally just spreading information and correcting me because I don't know all the information yet. Like if I say something dumb, correct me. Because believe me, it is going to be a common occurrence. Have we found our first real-life clipping issue? Hold on. The size of the back plates on the hands is different depending on whether it's the closed hand or the open palm one. That insinuates that when it's the open palm, it's actively like... that means when it's the open palm, it's literally like having a clipping issue where the hand goes, or like the back of the palm goes into the palm. Anyway, there's 2 hands done. Now we get the other 2 done. But due to it being shorter, it kind of looks like it would be that the bottom part of the back plate is phasing into the hand due to the angle that they're going at. You know, I just realized we don't actually really know what the Saiyan expected lifespan is in Dragon Ball Z. Because one of the things is that Saiyans stay young, essentially, until they hit 15, 16. And then they shoot up to what they'll look like as an adult for the rest of their life, other than things like facial hair. Until they hit 80, at which point... Oh, wait. Do I have it on backwards? I might... No? This one's just being annoying. They go until 80, at which point they start aging like a normal human. So how old would they have to be? Oh, right, yes, you were saying... I thought you were aggravated about the mods. I thought that's what it was about. Alright, I'm gonna just put this on so it stays on and then sort it out later when you're actually meant to. Funny enough, they could actually update their own stuff, and I did that for 2 of them, didn't notice. Funny enough, they could actually update their own stuff, and I did that for 2 of them. Didn't notice anything different, but that's not the point of it. I don't understand, you were making mods and then they just started doing it themselves, then Minecraft started doing the mods themselves, or... And... Damn near teens. Yeah, in the original series, Goku was, looking like a little kid for... majority of that, OG Dragon Ball, and then he goes and trains with Master Roshi, and one of the things Master Roshi teaches him is how to count, because Goku grew up in the mountains, he didn't really do education. So Master Roshi gives him an education, or a basic one at that, rudimentary, and it teaches him how to count, and then he's like, yeah, now I can count to my age correctly. I thought I was this age, but I'm actually 14. I got my numbers mixed up. If Master Roshi taught me how to count properly, and then he laughed, and Bulma was like, I've been traveling with a teenager this entire time. He's the same age as me. I thought he was a little kid. Yeah, so I'm just going to put these hands to the side for now. And what that means, though, then there's that time skip, and suddenly he's grown up, and nobody recognizes him at first. And then he gets really mad because Bulma is wearing lipstick and he thinks someone hit her and her lip's bleeding. Because he hadn't seen her wearing lipsticks before. That's just a core memory I have from that scene of seeing Goku where he was wearing that hat and he tips it up and he's like, hey guys, it's been a while. Alright. But yeah, so that Saiyans have that growth spurt 15, 16. Stay that way until 80. So then, do they have another, do they have accelerated growth where they will grow to, being really old all of a sudden? Or will they then hit human lifespan expectancy and grow slowly over time? from like being in their 20s until they're really old. Because that means they would live well into their hundreds. Well, not into their hundreds, but like into 100-year-olds, essentially. No, yeah, sorry, I felt like saying into their hundreds meant like multiple hundreds of years. No, into their 100 just means into their, like, that 100-year range. So once again, that just makes it really messed up that Vegeta killed Nappa. Like, he's a veteran. He spent his time in the battlefields. He's over 100 years old, and he's still fighting like a champion. He just gets put down. Alright. No, they can go back in and update their stuff, which I went and uploaded to that. Okay, anyway, there's this one add-on, it's called, like, Portals or something like that. Gives you the ability to make a bunch of portals out of the same colour frame, but for me it bugs out. Around the 9th portal of the same colour and frustrated me so bad I couldn't direct to where my dragons were or anything. Oh, you had, like, a mod that linked portals up. For, like, custom portal shenanigans. But it wasn't working, it just caused problems. That would be annoying. To be fair, though, if it could link 8 portals together, that's impressive. It's just that 9th one is where the threshold then just goes, hold on a second, I think you're pushing it a little here, buddy. Oh, we need to go over to C2 now, not C. Alrighty then. I've been playing lots of Marshy's Secret of the Omnitrix mod pack recently. My computer will actively explode if I try to stream it, though, so I can't do that. But, one of the things about it is there's 2 requirements for upgrading the Omnitrix. That being, 1, you need to have all the pieces to upgrade it, and 2, you've got to take it off. You only get the ability to take it off at level 40. Problem about that is, though, you have to be level 40 to take it off for the first time, and then whenever you put on the Omnitrix once it's been upgraded, then it like will stay level 40, or like if you take it off and put on an entirely new Omnitrix, you lose your levels in all Omnitrixes. But the idea is you just stick with the one. And so once you've hit that level 40 for the first time, it's not an issue. But I had some trouble with it and ended up having to basically just give myself a new one by using commands to get rid of the first one. And what this ended in is I now have an Omnitrix that's low level and can't be taken off to be upgraded. So I've made 2 rules for myself. 1, if level is the only thing keeping me from upgrading, I am taking it off with commands and then upgrading and putting it back on, because I keep my levels that way. And 2, I gave myself a stack of nether stars that's only allowed to be used for upgrading stuff. Anything else, because there's lots of stuff that uses nether stars, I have to source from withers. Because the sheer number of nether stars you need in order to upgrade the Omnitrix is absurd. First one, like the prototype, you're completely fine. You don't need any nether stars for that. The second one, the recalibrated, you just need to be a certain level, hit a button, and then the Omnitrix stops working for 5 minutes, and then it upgrades. To get the Ultimatrix, you need to take it off, so that requires level 40, but, like, you've had it for, like, prototype and recalibrated now, so slowly, possibly over time, you're at the point where you can take it off, because the level up is so slow. You need to take it off and then have 2 nether stars and then some other stuff. So that's easy enough. I handled that. Nice. By just like getting good enchanted diamond sword, killing a bunch of wither skeletons, and then fighting the wither a couple times. Chroma stone is really good to fight the wither with, I must say. Wait, is this the right one? Yeah, F2. Now, but it still takes absolutely forever, so you need to fight the wither twice. And so then what I think happens, so then you need to get 4, wait no, I think it's like you need to get like 6 total in order to upgrade it into the Poltiaris, like to make the Poltiaris thingy, to then like upgrade the Ultimatrix. Then you need to take the Ultimatrix off and use 4 more nether stars in order to upgrade it into the completed Omnitrix. From the completed Omnitrix, you then need a bunch more nether stars to like get the 5 years later Omnitrix. And then like further upgrades need even more. So we go from not needing any nether stars to needing 2, then 6, then 4. So you need 12 nether stars, which means you need to beat the wither 12 times. And the wither fight's not bad if you have the Omnitrix, but getting the wither skeleton heads is absolutely atrocious, and I refuse to do it. I've spent so many hours just fighting wither skeletons. I've killed nearly 300 wither skeletons, and I've only been able to fight like 3 withers so far. And I refuse to put up with that any further. Alrighty. Talking about Dragon Ball. See, that's a tough one. Do Gohan, Goten, and Trunks have different lifespans? Because we know, thanks to Goten and Gohan, that their growth is inconsistent. Because Gohan grew up at an accelerated rate, and no, he grew up at like the normal human rate. He was a normal height for, honestly, he was a bit big and muscular for an 11-year-old, but that's that same biology helping out there. What do we need now? G12, okay. That's C2, so that's not going to have G12. But so Gohan in the Cell arc was the normal height for an 11-year-old. He should have been way shorter, because Goku's way shorter in all of his adventures. Here's 12. But then Goten and Trunks are that short height and have the growth spurt. And so that raises an even larger question. Does that mean that their lifespan isn't determined by if they're a hybrid, but which parent they take their growth style from? So, like, Goten and Trunks are taking the growth of Saiyans, and therefore grow slowly, and then shoot up, and then won't age much at all for the rest of their lives until 80, and then not do much. Or, like, then they start aging like a human. And then Gohan ages like a normal human his entire life, because he started out aging like a normal human. I'm just going to move this up so it's a bit more obvious what I'm doing. Because he started out aging like a human, so now he's doing that for the rest of his life. And does that mean that Goten and Gohan have significantly different lifespans? It's like Gohan will die at the usual 90 to 100 years old, or I guess with the future medicine that they have in the Dragon Ball series, significantly longer than that. Let's say 110. Meanwhile, Goten and Trunks are going to live for nearly 200 years due to Earth medicine and Saiyan biology. That would be terrible. You still look the same as you were when you were a teenager. Meanwhile, your older brother looks like he's 110. What if they were born the other way round? So Gohan lives till nearly 200, meanwhile Goten only lives till 110. Oh hey, Goten 110. And so then Gohan has to watch his little brother age way faster than he does. That would be terrible. I don't want to think about this hypothetical anymore. Can we stop, please? Yeah, the Ox King. Because I don't think we ever actually got a name for him. Not sure if he I'm pretty sure he's meant to be a human. Because at the end of the day, Dragon Ball was originally a gag manga, so having very comedic designs like that would make sense. So oh, he's big and scary, and there's all these legends about him being a big scary boy, and then he shows up and he's absolutely ginormous, and he acts all big and scary, and the moment he realizes that it's Gohan's grandson, Goku, the kid from the forest that he heard about in the letters, he becomes a friend, and then we see him with his daughter, and he's essentially a teddy bear. I'm pretty sure that's what that was for. So it's not that he is non-human, he's a giant, but it's just meant to be the juxtaposition from the rumors about him and what he looks like to how he behaves. He's just a giant teddy bear, and his daughter's the wild one that causes all the problems. I feel like that's more what they were going for. Ooh, theory I haven't really went into the manga yet. So essentially, from what I can gather based on reading the manga and all the information I know about the series, Gohan in the manga, not in the anime, which is a difference because it was set in Super, that will come back to bite them a little. Well, I can't exactly say bite them because the manga and the anime were made at the same time. Often the anime was ahead of the manga, so you can't really blame it for not being the same for pieces of dialogue and who fights who in the Tournament of Power, since it's just bullet points of this character loses, but then it's not stated who beats them. But okay, so this goes like this. If it's facing this way, it plugs down. And then we take the shoulder, plug it on. But so Gohan in the manga states he wants to be he wants to grow as a human rather than as a Saiyan, which I guess also leads into the whole Saiyan, he grows as a human rather than a Saiyan rate of growth. He grows at the human's rate of growth. Yeah, so he wants to grow as a human, not a Saiyan, and so he's using Potential Unleashed rather than Super Saiyan. And so Beast is the next evolutionary stage of Potential Unleashed. Or I guess they finally given it a canon name, because it's used different names. It's used Mystic, it's used Potential Unleashed, and then it's kind of just settled on Ultimate, but it never got an official name in the manga. In the most recent chapter, Goten and Trunks refer to it as Ultimate, and everyone's confused because it didn't have a name. So they finally just named it Ultimate. So now that's the canon name. Alright, so that's the left arm completed. Oh. Oh, here's one theory that I actually really like, and it's about a common complaint. And if this theory is made canon, then I will accept that the common complaint is dumb. Just shows to connect the body and the head and the arms and all that. I love that it shows the icons used in the game. Anyway, the common complaint is about the Saiyans of Universe 6 being so strong. And that's because it's... Oh, how are they as strong as God Key using characters? That doesn't make any sense, and it's just poor writing. But I saw a theory, and it basically combines two aspects of the Saiyans in order to point to one thing and say this is why Universe 7 Saiyans could be as strong as Universe 6 Saiyans, but they screwed up big time. Because they have the Ozaru form, and it's holding them back. Alright, so then you get C2, since we're making 2 feet and they're identical, use 1 C2 from each runner. So essentially the theory goes... yeah, so Beast, Mystic and Ultimate were just an interchangeable name for the same transformation since it never got a canon name. And then Beast Mode, it's literally called Beast Mode. It was originally called Beast, but then it was Beast Gohan. But then Piccolo named it. Off screen, Gohan just says, yeah, no, Piccolo decided to call it Beast Mode. So now it's Gohan goes Beast Mode. He lets out the beast within. It's so dumb. Anywho, yeah, so it is technically a separate transformation, but it's kind of like an evolution of the ultimate transformation, rather than an evolution of Super Saiyan. But so the thing with the Great Apes is it gives a 10 times power increase, which means the Saiyans were like really strong. One of the things is like, oh, why is Vegeta considered to be so good if he's like constantly getting beat up on Namek by lots of Frieza's lackeys? That doesn't make sense. He's meant to be one of Frieza's best men. It's because Vegeta had what's it called? It's because Vegeta had like his tail while on Earth, but not on while Namek. So it's like the power levels, strongest there in Frieza's forces was 120,000. Vegeta was a mere 18,000. This was nothing. But with the Power Ball, he can go Great Ape whenever and shoot up to 180,000 and becomes the strongest of Frieza's like men. So yeah, the Saiyans could just do that and completely destroy everything with really unfair abilities like that. But it meant that they were very rarely using the Zenkai boost. And alongside that, very rarely growing way stronger because they didn't struggle in battle as much as they normally would. Meanwhile, Universe 6 Saiyans aren't constantly going out and fighting in Ozaru form, so they do grow a lot more, and then their generation will continue to grow way stronger than the previous generation every single generation. So if each generation gets really strong due to Zenkai boost, and then their next generation will be way stronger than them, that is going to make them way stronger way faster, which is why the Universe 6 Saiyans were significantly more powerful than Universe 7. Yeah, it is the same thing with Vegeta. There's Super Saiyan Blue and then Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. It's like an evolution of a transformation rather than a new transformation entirely. It's like evolving it to make a new one. This part here makes the sole of the feet, or the bottom of it. utilizing the part here. You can plug into the back. Oh, comes off easily on the other one though. So that plugs in good and proper, and then plugs in over here good and proper and becomes the foot. Talked a lot and not taken a drink, so my throat is getting dry. Wait, what do you mean by Gohan and Goten mutants? What stops that Gohan and Goten mutants? Do you mean what stops, like, Gohan and Goten from being mutants? Or, like, would you be able to elaborate on what you make that? I don't really understand what you mean by that. I know what the mutants are. I know that, like, Frieza, King Cold, and Broly are all confirmed to be mutants. And that's why they're so incredibly strong compared to the rest of their race. Which means, what happens when Broly has a kid? Due to their DNA, they could end up being mutated somehow. Oh, that's actually an interesting theory. So, like, because they're half human, they're somewhat mutated. That could explain why they go Super Saiyan so easily. It's because, like, thanks to the human DNA, they got, like, kind of half mutated. Messed with them a little bit. And so they ended up growing a lot faster than a normal Saiyan would. That's an interesting theory. One thing I really want to see is, oh wait, there's one more mutant. Well, Frieza's a pure blood too. The mutants aren't, like, mixed breeds. They're literally just, like, their race, but then they're just way, way stronger due to some mutation in their DNA. A couple of things I'd like to see is, like, Frieza elaborating on if he went crazy at first when he was born, because they're born in their final form. Their transformations are to weaken them because they were mutants. So the reason King Cold and Frieza got, like, transformations was to limit their power because they were mutants. And so rather than just learning to utilize their power like Broly is, they just limited it themselves instead. And so then, like, King Cold has slightly better control, and so he just goes into second form all the time while Frieza's in first form. Yeah, so pure bloods and, like, hybrids of humans and Saiyans can, like, all be mutants. Technically speaking, it could be possible. Because the thing is that there can be mutant humans as well. Every race can have a mutant. Take Den Shinhan, for example. His whole thing is like, oh, he opened his third eye, so now he has 3 eyes and can do the Kiko Ho. Who's to say that's not... Well, actually, that's a physical mutation rather than just a power level fluctuation based mutation. But, like, who's to say he isn't a mutant? Well, Master Roshi's been alive for hundreds of years because of the whole... His sister... Literally just he got lucky with who his sister is. It's not what you know it to, you know. Oh, Krillin can grow hair. He was part of a Buddhist temple. That's where he learned martial arts at first. So, shaving his hair was kind of just like a tradition thing. Just a part of the culture there. And so, like, in GT, he lets his hair grow. But then when he goes to fight again, he asks 18 to shave his hair again. Because, like, that's his thing. He is a Buddhist monk. And so, when he fights, he's got shaved hair in order to represent, like, his origins. So he's always been able to grow hair, it's just he didn't because He just kept it shaved. Yeah, the one thing that can change about Saiyans from their birth, regarding their hair, is the fact that they can grow a mustache. Alrighty then, PC7 is this piece. And then 2 from C. Give me a second. Is that the canon reason? I just thought Nappa had hit 80 and so, was just balding naturally. It's like he hit that point where he was in his 50s, human lifespan wise. And so he was balding but was able to keep the mustache. Meanwhile, well, let me just search up now. And my computer's frozen. Okay, here we go. Dragon Ball Wiki. Nappa. Yes, his age isn't known. We just know the date that he died being November 3rd, age 762. And also age 790 because that's the Super 17 saga where he came back from hell and all that. Yes, at first, he looks like he's in his mid-30s because that's how, the Saiyans work once they hit that growth spurt. When he's first shown, he looks 50 years old. And the only difference between him here and then is he's a bit slimmer. And he has that hair. And also his older armor, having the gloves and all that. Nappa, as he appears before balding, is what's referred to. Doesn't have sideburns. He wears a scouter. In Dragon Ball GT, his skin has a reddish pink tan. Very different from his original. Like, honestly, the obvious answer is it's just a plot hole. Yeah, so it's just like he was... Actually, yeah, no. If I can get a source... It doesn't have a source, but like, if it's correct on him being around 50 years old, when Goku was a baby, and Goku was like 30 at the time of like Dragon Ball Z and the Saiyan saga and all that, Nappa would be over 80 and would have started aging. So let's say approximately 50 means he's a bit above 50. So then when Goku comes back, he's a bit over 80 and he'll have started to have grown. Yeah, so the wiki is like really good at getting credible sources, to be fair. But yeah, in all actuality, it's likely just a plot hole. Or hey, that one could be true. That he cut his hair and then it just never grew back. That's another theory. Because Saiyan's hair never changes, so he would have cut his hair in order to stand out. Because Nappa's hair changed. He's different. But I mean, to be fair, if he was going to do something like that, he would have done it when the Saiyans were still alive. Meanwhile, he had his hair after the Saiyans were all eradicated, so who was he really proving it to? Vegeta, Frieza's army? Not exactly many Saiyans to be proving it to. But honestly, knowing Nappa, I wouldn't be surprised if he was just like, yeah, the reason I survived is because I'm better than them. Look, I can change my hairstyle. And that proves that I'm better than the rest of them, and that's why I survived, rather than having just gotten lucky and being off-planet at the time. Grab 2 from C, being up in the corner. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. What's his name? I think they referenced him once. Like in the main continuity where they say, yeah, my brother's off planet or my brother's off out there somewhere or something. I can't remember if that was like an actual thing or from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Can't tell if it was Super or Dragon Ball Z Abridged. The two are too similar. Yeah. Because the two are very different. Which is interesting to take into consideration because Yo's Son Goku, or like Return of Son Goku and Friends, canonically would be taking place after when Super started, but since there's been a noticeable time skip, likely after the the time skip takes place after the movie. Yep, he's canon now. We, the fans, get to decide what's canon, and we decree that this one character with no lore importance in the franchise is canon from the movie because we said so. I do love his reaction. They kind of reused his reaction in the Dragon Ball Broly movie with Paragus being absolutely flabbergasted at Vegeta and Goku being the legendary Super Saiyan. And then Frieza just being like, why are you surprised? Like, everyone is a Super Saiyan now. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Who did Frieza train with the first time to achieve Golden, actually? who knows? Maybe he was able to just train on his own. He's a mutant, so he grows at an accelerated rate when he actually does train. I actually think Cooler is one of the strongest characters in Dragon Ball. Because he doesn't have any of that Super Saiyan stuff. Like, he doesn't have Zenkai boosts, he doesn't have Super Saiyan, he doesn't have Kaioken, yet he was able to keep up with Frieza. He's not a mutant. At least he hasn't been confirmed to be. It's likely just that they didn't have mutants at the time, and so they just made him as strong as his brother. But he's actually stronger because he has the secret 6th form. But that means that Cooler is the only one to get a transformation for his race that makes him stronger. And with us not seeing his other forms, most strongest character. Oh yeah, no, Xeno and all that, like the Super Dragon Balls is the most powerful. But I mean, just like of the like the Frost Demons is the name used in Xenoverse, because we still don't have a canon name for that either. Let alone Ultimate Gohan. What ends up happening in like the movie is we never see, like, Cooler is always in his final form, which his race shouldn't be doing since the power leakage, but that's only for like Frieza and King Cold because they're mutants, which means that's not an issue for non-mutants, which means it's highly likely that that Cooler isn't a mutant, which means he's as strong as Frieza through sheer training. So he's like as strong as Frieza due to pure training, and actively got a new transformation through pure training. So that's why he's probably really impressive. Yeah, who made the Super Dragon Ball? Imagine if it's revealed that Xeno created the Super Dragon Balls. And it's like, there's just stuff he can't do. And so he made the Dragon Balls to, like, compensate for that. Like, oh yeah, I can do practically everything. But there's some things I can't do, so I just made something that can do everything in order to make up for that. And then other people can get to play around with that too, you know, because that could be fun. And then it just causes so many problems. Alright, 11 and 12 from C1. The original Namekian. It turns out the Namekians were a race born by the Super Dragon Balls to be able to do a fragment of what the original dude who made the Super Dragon Balls can do. Yeah, the original Super Saiyan God, wasn't that confirmed to be Charlotte? From Dragon Ball Legends or something? This is 11. Goes around this way. Connects on. Oh. Oh, yeah, so Legends isn't canon, it's someone else. Alright. Right, doesn't, like, the actual, like, original Super Saiyan God's name start with a Y or something? And they were going to go into detail on him and then kind of just never did. Still a bit disappointed about that, really. One of the things that's interesting about the Dragon Ball multiverse is how it builds off of other multiverses. So we've got the original Dragon Ball timeline, and then GT was retconned to be non-canon, But Dragon Ball Xenoverse takes place in a timeline which is an alternate version of GT. Dragon Ball Heroes takes place in an alternate timeline of Xenoverse. Dragon Ball Legends takes place in an alternate timeline of the manga, but incorporates pieces of Xenoverse, but not incorporating pieces of GT. It explicitly does not take GT into account, because it doesn't follow it because that's anime only. So that means that there's a version of Xenoverse that isn't built off of GT. Yeah, the 5 strongest mortals, like that whole thing with like, oh, there's the 5 strongest mortals, and also like all the other universes are way stronger than Universe 7. I'm sure that was just to make it so that they had more stuff to work with. It's like now there's a bunch of other universes that are way stronger than Universe 7, and that's where all the new villains that Goku's going to have to go up against will be coming from. And then they kind of just screwed the pooch on that one by having the Granola arc and the Moro arc and all the other arcs, and not capitalizing on that. Like they never went anywhere with that. 5 strongest mortals are absolutely from the other universes. Because Jiren is the strongest out of all of the universes that were in the Tournament of Power, and those are the weaker universes. So how strong is this stronger universe going to be? I wouldn't be surprised if Jiren could go up against some of those stronger universes. Just need to figure out the orientation of this. Okay, this goes here facing this way, this goes here facing this way. But at the same time, like, how strong, like, are these other ones going to be if Jiren is considered to be, like, part of the weaker universes? Like, he doesn't bump up his universe into the stronger universes by himself. And Toppo too, really, would help bump that up a bit. Because the Oracle Fish said strongest in the universe. There's a chance that everyone's thinking, oh, it's going to be Frieza, because he has the chance to be the strong. Is Gohan a mutant as well? Is that what's up with his power, where like he trains for just a little bit and gets absurdly powerful, but no one else can just do that unfair trick of just training a little? Because that's what Frieza did. It's like, yeah, that thing with humans getting kind of mutant makes sense. Like, these are entirely our headcanons, but it also fills in a lot of plot holes in the series. Alright, then we place it facing this way. We get G8. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. I need to get up the copy pasta or a second. Cusco's with the wagon driver, and the wagon driver went here. So if I go to here, then I'll find the wagon driver, and I'll find Cusco. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. But it's like, and then I just change it to be all the Dragon Ball stuff, so it's... Yeah, so if Frieza is a mutant and Gohan is a mutant, Frieza can train for just a little bit, and thanks to being a mutant, he grows way faster. Gohan also just trains for a little bit and becomes a mutant, is a mutant, so he grows way too fast. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. I actually kind of want to do that now. But no, I'm talking like the plot of The Emperor's New Groove, where the "it's all coming together" meme comes from. Cusco, the Emperor, like, escapes by hiding in a wagon that someone's taken somewhere, because he's just like a peddling, like he's a merchant, he goes around. Not EA. Oh, EA Games. Okay, 17, here we go. So I'm just going to build this leg, and then I'm going to pack up for the night. And then, like, I'll continue tomorrow and all that. There we go. Got that done now. Now what happens is A20, which is this part here. So like this entire side is used for one leg, this entire side is used for the other leg. Yeah, I hate the fact that the creators, or like the people who are writing the story, literally went, yeah, we don't care about like the past games and keeping that whole timeline thing going. We're just gonna ignore that and then do our own thing. Thank you very much. Because as confusing as it wasn't that the timeline was like confusing and super complex, it was just that there was a lot to it. Because there's just so many things. Yeah, that was probably just a way because they accidentally did plot inconsistencies. Instead of just like going, yeah, no, we messed it up. We're gonna think of some big brain way that fixes the plot and all that. They just went, oh yeah, no, we don't care about the plot. Well, I think the plot hole they're referring to is like the fact that, oh, Ganon, or like all the previous stuff, like, oh, Ganon decided not to reincarnate, but then it turns out that was like an avatar of him. That could have just, had they addressed that and been like, oh yeah, no, Zelda just made a mistake. And then so like, Pura actively goes, yeah, Zelda must have been wrong about that or something. That would have been acceptable. Like, it's a retcon, but it's fine. Then there's the thing of like, oh, there's just been this giant dragon, which was Zelda with the Master Sword, up in the sky during every single game. Because it's been going for like, since the beginning of Hyrule. And Hyrule went up into the sky at one point. But then where were the dragon dudes, and where was the dragon, the Master Sword, and all that? So it doesn't line up, and so now they're just saying, oh, irrelevant, the plot doesn't matter, even though, yeah, that's what everyone wanted the game for. There was heaps of lore stuff. There's a lot of things Ganon... a lot of things with Ganon people don't get. They can be two separate people sometimes. Okay, that actually is a good theory that can retcon it, rather than it being, oh, Ganon isn't the reincarnation of Demise and he doesn't even remember why he keeps coming back, or even his previous incarnations. But he doesn't remember the curse of Demise and all that. But as Demise's puppet for his soul to keep coming back to try to win, he keeps doing bad stuff. They could make it, Ganon was his own dude. He was the king of the Gerudo and all that. And then Demise just took him over in order to survive and have a new vessel to keep coming back in. That would be an interesting theory. There's a way to handle that. Like, it's a retcon, but once again, a retcon is fine as long as it fixes the plot. Yeah, like, Ganondorf is the physical form of the curse. Ganon is the spirit version. I thought... No, Calamity Ganon is the spirit version. Ganon is like a different... Like, sometimes he comes back as Ganondorf, sometimes he comes back as Ganon, the big pig thing. But then, like, Ganondorf can also transform into it by utilizing the curse or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the plot of Legend of Zelda too perfectly, so I could be most likely wrong. This goes on this way. Now we go over to A. And we grab 13 and 14. I gotta wonder what the utilization of these separated green parts are, because it's confirmed to be the Psycho Frame. The Psycho Frame's usually inside the Gundam, since that's where it's most useful. You know, you usually want your, like, muscles to be inside your body, so to speak. Food for thought. Wind Waker is on one timeline, but the events could have happened in the other two timelines, parallel versions each game. So, yeah. It is interesting that the timeline literally split, and now there's 3 Legend of Zelda timelines to follow because of the time travel shenanigans in Ocarina of Time. Alright, so that folds down. This goes on this side and goes in facing this way. Now you grab E and you get E13, which is these big parts. I'm gonna grab this one since it's on the side that I'm already taking parts from, but it is symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter. Clean off the parts so they look good, and plug this whole thing in. So the games aren't exclusive to the timeline they originate from. Oh, I got to put it on the wrong side. That would be a way to explain a lot of, like, plot inconsistencies, yeah. I do have to admit that I do kind of like the game theory about it, that after, what's it called? Hyrule Warriors or Hyrule Legends or whatever, it all got cleared up, and, or like, we're now following just one timeline that has aspects of all 3. Anyway, now we have this snazzy little part. It's got, like, the translucent green fins I can flip out. And it's got parts for it to just clip onto the leg like so. There's that green or that yellow and black decal in there. Got that nice leg going. So now we go and get A19, which is the last bit for the leg there, from A at least. Oh, sorry, A. Yeah, it says A19. Oh, because I'm doing the legs backwards, but they're symmetrical, so it doesn't matter. And C6. Which is this part here with all these pieces. End of the day, the canon explanation as to the plot holes is just they didn't think about it. So facing the same way like that. These plug in. Now we get the paintbrush. Wet this area here. Dry it off. Grab decal 8 to go on. Oh, it goes. I was thinking that it goes on here, goes on this bit. Okay. A bunch of other little things like Zelda, like the tribe types of people vanish in one game, show back up in the other. Yeah, because it's like in one timeline the Zora were a thing, and then in another timeline the Rito were a thing because of the flood and all that. Then they're showing up together in Breath of the Wild. That is just like absolutely a consequence of not thinking things through. So that just adds this nice little grey part. Yeah, that's true. So now, this piece that we put on way earlier, it's got that rectangle hole, rectangle peg here. It plugs together facing this way. No, it doesn't. Oh, I know what the problem is. Alright. Because I use the parts for the left leg, that's the only part that's actually, like, not mirrored. So that's the only part you need to get correct. So just grab 19. And grab 6. That's an interesting question. Honestly, I like to think that they aren't. Because then it's just, oh, every single villain is just Demise again. Rather than sometimes Demise doesn't show up. Maybe the Gerudo died off somehow and so he wasn't able to come back as Ganon. Or something else happened. And so there just genuinely are other evil individuals in the world. That's... Like I said, I don't know too much about the lore, so I can't really, like, say, oh, well, obviously, they're just doing that for theatrics. Or, like, they're just doing that because they're evil, and so they're the Demon King. And then they don't actually mean to be Demise. I don't know enough about the lore to be able to say that definitively. I'm sure that theory has a lot of merit to it. I do apologise, I keep taking the Gundam off screen. Yeah, just like a back and forth on like head canons and lore things, just like explaining stuff. It would be it's a good way to learn the lore of a series, to just like have back and forth about stuff, because people will bring up instances of things that you're not aware of or you don't remember, and then you bring up stuff that they don't remember, and then everyone learns stuff. Alright, now we plug that in. get it all in the correct position. There we go. Finally, last part that we're doing today. Grab C1 and grab 5, 9, and 10. Now, interesting thing, Breath of the Wild at one point was supposed to be aliens invading. But if you played the game, the giant rock people monsters, they did come from, good question, go north and find the direction suggests they came from space and they were aliens. So wait, the Gorons were originally meant to be revealed to have been aliens the whole time? Okay, there we go. I finally plugged in correctly. Now we grab a foot. We plop that in. And that's the leg done. Oh, you mean, God, what are they called? The Talus. No, the Talos. And, like, sometimes they're in giant craters. Oh, so it's meant to be like they flew down and they're aliens and, like, they created those craters when they came down from space. And it turns out they were just, like, a fragment of what was to come sort of thing. That would have been cool, but, like, wouldn't have felt very Legend of Zelda-y. That would be interesting. That would have been neat. Anyway, I'm going to be packing up for tonight. Likely be continuing tomorrow, and yeah. I'll see you next time, Daniel.